die. Feel it in my veins tonight. Emotional suicide. You know it's an eye for eye. I didn't wanna walk the plank. But the Mariona, it came like the thunder. I was on my way to going under. Swimming in the banya, I was covered in a tidal wave, But I'm a fighter, trying to take me down, I'm going higher. Baby, you've been playing with some fire. You've been playing with fire. One day you will see what you made of me. Found my inner peace. You are release in the dead of night. In the dead of night. Baby, when the soul die, you know it's an eye for eye. Feel the energy align, and the judge of night. In the dead of night. In the dead of night. In the dead of night. You can save your alibi. I already know you lied. Oh no, no, don't even try. Watch the flame in me ignite. You didn't wanna walk the plank. But the Mariona, it came. Baby, you was dark, it was hard to see. And that's when a spark lit inside of me. Oh,
Alright, okay, let's go. Oh, that's way too loud. Alright, let's turn the background music down.
what you made of me, what's inside of me. Oh, one day you will see.
Alright, hello everyone. Welcome to today's stream. How's it going, everybody? Today I'm planning to do just chatting for like the first 20 minutes. We'll probably watch some horror related YouTube videos if you're all interested in that. I hope the mic is fine, quality is good. But yeah. We'll see where we go from there. We'll probably hang out, talk a little bit, play some games. It depends what games. We'll leave it to a chat vote. So yeah, welcome everybody to the stream, and those of you that are going to be watching this as a VOD, welcome. You're all free to join my future streams. So yeah, let's get straight into it. I'm gonna get the videos up. This will take me a second. I hope everyone's having a lovely day. Oops, that is not the right. Okay. I'm getting used to this. Do. Yes, sure. Welcome. Dragon Man 2. Beelzebub. Everyone is welcome to go ahead and subscribe to them. Fantastic channel. Okay, what was the last video we left? Oh yeah, 8 scariest apps to never get. Nah, let's skip that one and go to area 5 scary area 51 videos. That seems more sus. bear with me as I get everything working. Okay. Let's turn the sound up. Okay. Ready, steady. Wait, I done goofed.
From a creepy phone call made by someone who used to work at Area 51 to a scary encounter caught on camera, here are 5 scary videos based on Area 51. A mysterious phone call. The following audio comes from a radio show host who, while being on air, receives a mysterious call from someone who claims to be a former employee of Area 51. That being said, what you're about to hear is pretty chilling. Here's the audio of that call.
Line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Art.
Yes.
Hi. I don't have a whole lot of time.
You're already shaking in fear.
Well, look, let's begin by finding out whether you're using this line properly or not. You know.
A former employee.
Former employee.
I was let go on a medical discharge about a week ago, and
Uh-oh.
I've kind of been running across the country. Oh man, I don't know where to start. They're gonna they'll triangulate on this position really soon.
So you can't spend a lot of time on the phone. So give us something quick.
Okay. Okay. What we're thinking of as aliens, Art, they're extra-dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. They have infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military establishment, particularly the Area 51. The disasters that are coming, the military. I'm sorry, the government knows.
This is terrifying. Oh my gosh.
A lot of safe areas in this world that they could begin moving the population to now, Art.
But they're not doing anything.
They are not. They want the major population centers wiped out so that the few that are left will be more easily controllable.
Discharge.
I started getting...
Uh-oh.
In some way, something knocked us off the air, and we're on a backup system now.
It's the government, or...
I don't know.
It has to be something, though.
Well, did you...
Now that's eerie. Some have speculated that the loss of transmission was caused by the so-called Men in Black, who are thought to kidnap and silence those who leak confidential government information. Now, this could all be a hoax, but there isn't any evidence to prove this as being fake, nor is there anything to prove this otherwise. That being said, this may or may not be real, but based on the hostess reaction and the frantic behavior of this caller, this may be authentic.
I honestly
As
am
always,
more
what are your
afraid of like
thoughts?
paranormal
Could this all be a
things
hoax? Or
than like
was this actually
voice
someone
calls
sharing
and that sort of
confidential
thing.
information,
But
trying
like
to warn us of
honestly,
something
this is
that will
kind
soon
of creepy.
happen?
It's a
What do you
kind of
think?
creepy.
A scary encounter. The following video features 2 motorcyclists who encounter a life-threatening situation outside of Area 51. Although being a frightening encounter, it's what happens to them afterwards that's way more scary. The video starts off with 2 motorcyclists who come across some guards in a vehicle. They then proceed to move along until reaching a post that stopped them from going any further. It was upon reaching this post that the following happened.
Yours are still off. Whoa. Whoa. Uh-oh, we got things happening. I know, I am. Yeah.
tell you again. Turn around.
What the?
You going all the way out here?
We're just adventure travelers. We're just adventure travelers.
Just adventure travelers?
Yeah.
All right.
No.
Listen, we're gonna give you guys a chance, okay? Get on your bikes, out of here. We'll call Lincoln County, and they'll write you each a $750 ticket.
Kinda.
Okay.
We're out of here. Thank you.
Right.
Go ahead.
Whoa. This is Area 51, right?
Oh my god. Oh my.
Area
How
51
scary.
videos?
Had they said or done anything else, I'm pretty sure these guards would have shot them without having to hesitate. Luckily, they made it out alive. Or so people thought. This was the last video they posted, and ever since then, they've been completely absent from social media, which is very odd as they're usually active online. Because of how odd the situation is, someone reached out to them via Instagram and asked if they were okay, and, to their surprise, they responded by saying, FDC 6 months. According to the message, they're saying that they were held in a federal detention center for 6 months. However, some think that this might not be true and that something else actually happened, as they still haven't posted a thing on their accounts. Some have theorized that their social media has been taken over by government officials. So this might have been someone else who responded. The reason for this is unknown, but some believe that it may have to do with the last video they posted. Who knows? The whereabouts of these individuals is unknown, and to this day, it remains a mystery as to what actually happened to them. Area 51 Tunnel. This next video comes from Explore With Us, a channel based on exploring abandoned locations.
Ooh,
Among all the videos on this channel,
spooky.
there's one in particular that's pretty spooky, and it takes
Thank you
place
for the
near
follow,
Area 51.
Pedakin.
The video starts off with two explorers who are just a few feet away from a secret tunnel near Area 51. The tunnel seems to have been abandoned many years ago, as the things they find inside are pretty old. But finding old things isn't the highlight of this video, for they encounter something really chilling inside. Here's what they captured.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a little bit loud.
That door just closed by itself, guys. Yup. That sucks. The battery dead. Let's skip by this part.
Aside from paranormal activity, and considering the fact that this tunnel is at the same location as Area 51, it makes you wonder if there's any connection to the facility. Perhaps it was used by personnel of Area 51 to transport items from point A to point B. It's quite a mystery as to what this was for, but based on its location, it may have a literal connection to Area 51. If so, those attending the raid might want to use this as a means to get inside. In all seriousness, this has to be one of the most creepy places near Area 51. Alien Encounter. These next few clips come from an interview featuring Bob Lazar, a former employee of Area 51, who recounts the things he's seen while working there. Although most of what he's seen is pretty interesting, the things that he talks about in the following clips is really unsettling, as it makes you question everything you know about the US government and life in general. Here are those clips.
One or two autopsy photographs I saw dealt with just a small photograph, a bust shot essentially, just head, shoulders, and chest of an alien with a chest was cut open in a T fashion and one single organ was removed. The organ itself in the other picture was cut and vivisectioned essentially, showing the different chambers in there. Allegedly what happened in '79, there was some sort of information exchange going on where there were actual live aliens at the facility, and a fight ensued. And the bottom line from the altercation was that the security personnel I don't remember how many were involved, but were all killed, and they died of head wounds, and that's all. One day when I was getting on Interstate 15, driving down Charleston Boulevard, a car came up alongside of me. There was a gunshot, and the back of the car was hit, and I skidded off into the median. What's happened? It was an attempt on my life, but by who specifically, I don't know.
Watching something like this makes you feel unsettled, as you're not sure if you can trust anyone who works for the government. As for the things that Bob has seen, it makes you wonder if there's anything else that might be hiding. It's a scary thought, for it could be something potentially dangerous and really frightening. Who knows what else is inside? A terrifying encounter. This next video comes from a channel by the name of Licking Guy, which, as the channel's name suggests, is based on a guy who pretty much goes to famous locations and licks anything that's a part of that place. Although funny and quite novel, what this YouTuber encounters is no laughing matter, as he almost ends up getting killed. The video starts off with him heading over to what seems like a back entrance to Area 51. Upon arriving, he walks over to the back entrance and sees a warning sign prohibiting anyone from entering inside. Although he doesn't enter, he does something that's just as bad as breaking in. He licks the sign and then rips it off the gate. He then walks away with it. However, seconds later, the following happens.
What the?
A gun goes off in the distance. It's unclear as to whether or not this was done to scare him off. Although it may seem funny, it was a dangerous stunt that could have ended badly. This could have resulted in him getting shot for stealing something that was definitely not worth the video. Whether funny or not, there's no doubting that this had to be
Send me
one really
a link
scary
and then
encounter.
I'll see. Okay, 5 scary. This one seems better to watch. But send me a link if you can.
The following video comes from two brothers who, while being home alone, captured something really creepy on camera.
Uh-oh.
The video starts off with two brothers who are watching TV when, all of a sudden, a mysterious noise is heard from down the hall. Now, it's worth noting that this isn't the first time they've heard something strange. As mentioned in the video's description, both siblings and the rest of their family have been experiencing unusual activity in their home ever since they moved in.
This looks like it came from
They
a
know
film.
for a fact that their home doesn't have any dark history since it was built not too long ago. Yet they've been experiencing activity that has somewhat confirmed their suspicions of there being a presence. There have been other creepy occurrences at this place, but the following video has to be by far one of the most creepiest things they've encountered. Soon after hearing this noise, they approach the playroom where they know for sure the noise came from. As they slowly approach this room, they open the door, make their way to a smaller room inside, and capture something really creepy. I'll play the clip first before pointing out what it was that they saw. See if you can spot anything unusual about this video.
There's literally nothing in here. There's nothing up here. What the crap? There's nothing in here either. Look. I can hear. I heard it once. Like I came out and I was like, shh. That's all I heard. Yeah, but we heard it. We were sitting there. We just sitting here and we heard. You heard it start? Yeah. Yeah, we heard it start.
If you didn't see it, here's what they captured.
There's literally nothing in here. Look how heavy this is. Yeah. Hang on. There's nothing up here. There's nothing up here.
Now that's pretty creepy, but what's even more creepy about this is that when they went back to check on this toy, Its head was back at the position it was in
If you are
when
a
they first
student
entered the
trapped
room.
at school
The
and
family
everyone in
doesn't
your
know what to
class
make of
has
this
turned into a
and is
murderous
seeking
zombie,
answers from viewers of the
what would you
video.
do? In this
Let me know what you
video,
guys think.
I'll be covering the
Could there be an explanation for this? Or is it the case that this family's house is being haunted by something? Who knows? This next video comes from a mysterious channel called SNCH. There's a lot more videos on this channel that are just as mysterious as this one. However, the following video takes the cake for being the most creepy. The video starts off with what appears to be a group of friends exploring what looks like a garage. Based on their dialogue, it seems like they heard something that came from inside and so decided to go and check it out. Upon entering inside, their camera starts to malfunction as they can't see what's being recorded. All they could see is a pitch black screen. However, little did they know that their camera was in fact recording. Soon after all were inside, they capture this. Pay close attention to the window at which the camera points. Like with most viewers of the video, you might be asking, what in the world was that? Was it some guy with a mask peeping at these friends? Or was it something else? Could this have been some sort of entity haunting these friends? Or a stranger trying to break inside? Although some think it's the latter, most believe that whatever it was has to be some sort of paranormal entity, as there's evidence to support this. In almost every single one of their videos, they capture something really odd. From capturing on camera what appears to be a mysterious pair of hands popping out from their neighbor's window, to hearing creepy noises coming from a baby monitor, it seems like they're being haunted by something. But perhaps the most mysterious and supporting evidence of this notion has to be the poltergeist activity that they caught on camera. Now, there's a lot more to explore on this channel. From a mysterious image that appears on a spectrograph after running the audio from one of their videos, to videos with encrypted titles, this channel is definitely worth checking out if you like both mysteries and creepy things. The following video comes from Riley Diddy, who caught something pretty spooky on camera while working a late night shift. The video starts with Riley, who's talking about how he just witnessed something really creepy. He recounts the events that occurred prior to encountering this incident. He was heading towards his office in the back when, out of nowhere, he hears what sounds like a pair of keys dropped on the floor. He checks the source of the sound and finds a pair of keys laying on the ground, away from the counter where he last saw them. At first, he thought the keys must have been placed on the counter's edge, which would explain how they could have fell. But, as Riley remembers, he last saw them placed far away from the edge. This was very strange indeed, but things were about to get a lot more strange, as Riley sees something that scares the living daylights out of him. Luckily, he was able to capture what he saw.
Oh my gosh. The paper moves. It's moving again. Oh my gosh.
Imagine working a graveyard shift all by yourself and seeing this. How creepy. As for whether or not Riley did experience something paranormal, it's hard to tell. The keys having fallen to the ground could have been a made-up story, as it wasn't captured on camera. And as for the paper that flew off the counter, that could have been fake too. There could have been a fan behind Riley as he recorded this supposed paranormal encounter. However, some have pointed out that if there was a fan, then the display in front of the paper would have moved too. This, coupled with the fact that Riley was crying out of fear, makes this somewhat believable. What do you think? As always, what are your thoughts? Could this be real? Or could this be a hoax?
What do you guys think? Tell me in chat right now.
This next video isn't just a video, but rather a compilation of both videos and posts that follows the events that have unfolded inside someone's home. Nonetheless, the things that have happened to this person is just beyond creepy. Carlos' name has a following of 1.3 million followers on Instagram, which is pretty big compared to most other accounts. But, unlike most other accounts, Carlos has been posting videos of unusual things that have taken place inside his new home in Mexico, from his dog Risipus acting strange, to capturing mysterious apparitions on camera. Carlos is sure that something isn't right about his new home. The first odd occurrence took place at the beginning of this year when his dog, who was stolen a few days ago, mysteriously appeared back at his home. On that same day, he finds a few things on his lawn, one of which included a journal with indecipherable writing inside. Ever since then, he's been experiencing other odd things, like receiving a mysterious package with the words "Save until 2021" written across it, and hearing what sounds like someone walking on his lawn at night. Fearing that someone might be stalking him, he decides to install some security cameras outside his house, which at first didn't seem useful as they weren't capturing anything. But later on, they do end up capturing something, and it's something that Carlos wasn't expecting. Here's what he captured. It's hard to tell what it is, but whatever it is, it's pretty creepy. However, it's not as creepy as the events that have transpired afterwards. Carlos's dog continued to act strange, and Carlos finds mysterious symbols around his home. But there's one incident in particular that has left Carlos really spooked, and it's the time that he broke into his neighbor's home, which was completely empty, and found a picture of his house and a picture of his family. This was very unsettling, as Carlos was now certain that someone was watching him. This, along with other paranormal related incidents, has left him with no choice but to contact a priest so that his home could be blessed. Hopefully doing so, as Carlos believed, would get rid of whatever it is that's haunting his place. After having his home blessed, Carlos told the priest of everything that has happened, from the journal he found to the strange apparition he caught on camera. Upon hearing all this, the priest was certain that Carlos had to be marked by some cult, particularly a satanic one, as the events that transpired are similar to those that others have encountered after being marked or selected by such cults. However, it's still unknown as to why they chose Carlos. He surely doesn't know, but it seems to me that the reason they chose him has to do with the fact that Carlos is very wealthy and quite famous. It would seem that his wealth and popularity have made him a target of those who are envious of his fortune. Of course, this is just a theory, as the cult's intentions are shrouded in mystery, but who knows? Let me know what you guys think. The following video comes from B-Ross H, who filmed his dog growling at something unseen.
Also, yeah, sure, let's watch cinema summary. I don't mind.
There's something creepy about dogs barking or reacting to something that isn't there. Perhaps it's because they're seeing something that we can't. Whether it's a ghost or some other entity, I would definitely not sleep in that same room where my dog was growling at something in the closet. What would you do if your dog acted like this?
Oh, I just realized my mic was unmuted. Was muted. Yo, okay, so yeah, we're gonna watch Cinema Summary. Is there any particular videos you guys want to watch? And why is this one watched? I swear I haven't watched it, but most popular. Do we want to just go most popular down? Let's start with Squid Game. Any particular one, chat? Okay, I actually noticed Death Note. I don't know. Wait, how to beat Death Games? Oh, that's the live action one. Shame. What about newest? God's Will is good. God's Will. If you've seen it, do you really want to watch it again? But I guess, sure.
You have never seen anything like this. Trapped in a giant cube and forced to compete to the death in twisted children's games, this movie has zero chill. Putting your strength, intelligence, and sanity to the test with a trick around every corner, what do? This one will have you reasoning with utter madness, as I'm going to break down the mistakes made, what you should do, and how to beat the twisted games in As the Gods Will. It's a normal school day, until the teacher's head explodes into bloody marbles, and a Japanese Daruma doll pops out of his stump, telling the class he wants to play a game. Daruma dolls are a common symbol for good luck in Japan, but it's safe to say this one isn't the lucky kind. This Daruma doll here starts the game and turns around as these two kids run for the exit, and their heads explode into marbles too.
What the
This particular death game is way too bloody for YouTube, so every time you see these here, someone's head just exploded, and you'll have to use a little bit of imagination. The doll tells them the rules of the game. This is red light, green light, the nightmare version. Usually this is just a children's game where you have to sneak up on the leader in the front and tag them before they turn around and see you. But in this version, they have to push the button in the back of the doll without being seen before time runs out. And if he turns around and sees you moving, your head will explode. Okay, this is f***ing insane. But if you're only thinking about why this is happening, you're going to lose the game. We need to be thinking about how to keep our heads and beat this thing before the time runs out. If we're free to move around when he's not looking, we need to maximize this time to gather information and develop a team strategy as much as possible. This hero tries to rush forward to push the button, but doesn't make it in time, as the Daruma doll turns his head and catches him moving. Being a hero won't work here, but if we move as a group and each take one step at a time in unison, our chances of survival increase. Some people will mess up, but with each step, we'll get closer to achieving the goal. Next, we can block his sight. Once we're all closer, I toss my jacket over its head, aiming to cover the doll's eyes just as it turns around. We would then have a better chance of touching the button without getting killed. In a situation like this, every piece of information is useful for survival, and we need to think about what this doll's limitations are. He has no neck, so even if he can turn himself around, he doesn't appear to have the physical ability to look downwards beyond his peripheral vision. So if it's me, I'd consider crawling along the floor and sneaking up to him from below the desk. If I could hide below his eye level until he turns around again, I could quickly reach the button without getting caught. Now, I wouldn't actually do this myself because it's way too risky, but I would advertise it to my schoolmates as a strategy and encourage others to test the idea. There's only 2 people left standing with 35 seconds remaining, but the kid's friend has an idea. He tells Shun here to use him as a springboard to vault over all these dead bodies, and with less than 10 seconds left, the kid rushes forward. He jumps off his friend's back and makes it to the Daruma doll, pressing the button with 1 second remaining. What a badass way to win the game, but there's no time to celebrate, because this kid's head explodes, and we learn a simple fact. In this case, there can only be one winner. The Daruma doll explains the student who presses the button is the only one who gets to live, and then warns him that he's a mouse and that the cat is coming. This means that there are more horrifying games we have to go through, and we can't relax now. Considering all these dead students saved my life by making enough mistakes for me to learn from, I'm looking for other students from the other classes to try banding together. The more bodies there are between me and the next death game, the lower the probability that I'm dying right away, and I can figure out how to keep myself alive. That's when the kid's childhood friend Ichika opens the door. He finds out that she was in a Daruma doll game of her own, and she won just like him. He uses his momentary freedom to call the police, but finds out he's not in a service area. Okay, this is the time to find a way out and to plan ahead. I would take this opportunity to explore all escape options, even if we find out there's no way to escape and we can focus on beating the games. It's clear that other games are coming, as the Daruma doll said, so I'm going to take my time carefully investigating my surroundings and gathering useful resources for whatever might come next.
This game's
Things to throw,
cursed.
like
Doesn't
pencil
it mean
cases,
that
rulers,
everyone
scissors,
literally
or
killed
even
their own
textbooks.
classmates to
They
win?
continue running until they reach the
Oh my
gymnasium, where they see a
gosh.
bunch of other students wearing mice costumes. The door suddenly shuts itself behind them, and now they're locked in. This is their next game, and as the writing on the floor explains, the objective is to put a bell on a cat. The class president orders them to put on the mice costumes, but they don't, and this hesitation will pay off later. The floor opens up and a giant Maneki Neko statue rises up. This is yet another symbol of good luck in Japan that's going to bring these students the exact opposite. The goal, to put the giant bell in the cat's basket collar without getting eaten. Okay, whoever designed these challenges are complete psychopaths. We're told to get into a mouse costume, and personally I would rush to put one on, because I'd be scared of punishment for not following the rules. But immediately it eats a mouse, but those still in their school uniforms are left alone. So there's more to this than it seems. As long as there are mice to chase, it's blind to the students who are still wearing uniforms. If the mice costumes are optional, then this must be considered a variable in our strategy to defeat it. So I would take off my mouse costume immediately and take a step back to safely assess the pieces of the game. This collar is about 20 feet high, double the height of a regular basketball hoop. Unless you're dude perfect and nailing impossible shots, the likelihood of a regular student getting the shot off is extremely low, and it would take too many attempts to even consider as a viable option. And with the cat running us over and swiping at us, it's too dangerous to make multiple attempts to throw the bell in its face. It also has a string along its back that could be grabbed if we ran up it. My solution is to climb it for a dunk or a layup. Whenever it eats a mouse, it pauses, and that's our best chance at this. You could wrap the bell in your shirt and tie it around your back like a sling. Then when a classmate gets eaten, climb up the cat with the bell in the sling, and work your way around the collar to go in for the dunk. One of the students is the basketball team's MVP and has the girl pass the bell over to him. The student makes the free throw, but the bell is caught by the cat, who throws it right back at the basketball player. They've just lost their MVP, and now it can use its hands. Things just got way worse. They realize the cat is only eating mice, and they finally take off their mouse costumes, putting an end to the most dangerous cosplay event ever. But with no more mice to eat, it starts going for humans. Now this is where we need to get a little creative with our teamwork. If there's too many mice, more people will be eaten. And if the cat has only one mouse to chase, then you're stuck in a mouse costume with the undivided attention of a giant fucking cat. I would make everyone wear only the mouse legs and fold the top of the costume down. That way everyone can rotate wearing the mouse costume depending on where the cat is in the room. And when it needs to be distracted somewhere else, by simply throwing on the top of the costume like a jacket, we can effectively appear and disappear to the cat as needed. Work together to get the bell in the basket and avoid getting eaten. Shun here takes one for the team and puts on a mouse costume. And after getting seriously cat handled, he realizes he can hear it complain about its itchy back. He finds out so long as he's wearing this hood, he can understand what it's saying. I didn't expect this, but we can't be too surprised. A cat that likes mice, of course, likes to be scratched. It probably also likes catnip, tearing couch sofas, and licks itself inappropriately in front of guests. We need to think of this thing not just as a monster, but with everything we know about cat behavior. They also love chasing lights and lasers, and if any one of them had a laser pointer, they could distract the cat away from the mice. Now that's obviously a joke, but if you're not doing everything you can to use what you know against this thing to keep yourself alive, then you're already losing the game. He climbs up the cat and begins to scratch its back. With the help of the other students, they all work together until it finally goes to sleep. Shun here is about to put an end to this game, but one of the students questions if there can only be one winner, like the first game. This is a valid point, but there's enough objective logic here to infer the answer. In the children's game, Red Light Green Light, there can only be one winner, whoever reaches the end first, and everyone else is eliminated from the game. Basketball, however, is a team sport, and when one person scores, the team benefits. This is enough to convince me to surrender the shot to someone with more skill. If someone was insistent on shooting and skilled enough to take the shot, I'd put my ego aside and let them have the bell. We don't have time to argue, and it's important to get the job done quickly without interference. Their argument for shooting privileges wakes up the cat, who rips two students apart. They don't have time to put it back to sleep, but Shun has another idea. Grabbing the ripped up basketball and some spare mice costumes, he and his friend disguise the bell as a basketball. Since he knows the cat relies on seeing something before it acts, they can confuse the cat and maybe get at least one shot up before time runs out. In a high pressure situation, this is really good thinking. He's been paying attention to the cat's behavior, knows its weakness, and is perfectly exploiting it. But he made one mistake. If I'd seen this room before, I would have used it more strategically throughout the game. We could run inside for cover as a mouse and come out safely as a student. There also might have been more basketballs in there to shoot and distract the cat with. The girl takes a shot, but the cat smacks it away, giving the boy the chance to shoot the bell. But it bounces right off the rim, and there's not enough time to try again. Right at the last second, this student jumps over the cat's head and slams it into the hoop. Game over. But the killing continues, as the hero of the hour starts killing the other students, believing they don't deserve to live because they're brainless losers. Okay, this guy is a psychopath, but he's also not wrong. Unfortunately, I'm not trusting him in a game, because he's blinded by fanaticism instead of survival and the greater good. Killing them off serves us no purpose. The more expendable people that are in the games, the more we can benefit from their deaths. Every game will require a certain amount of mistakes to learn how to play them, and these kinds of people are perfect for that. Let them make the mistakes, and we study the game's response, and then use that information to beat it. Then the cat blows sleeping gas at them, knocking them out. When Shun here wakes up, he finds himself in a room with an old classmate and some strangers. All 4 students have survived 2 games, the Daruma and the cat game. This guy activates a device, and the group finds out they're trapped in a giant floating cube with no way for anyone to break in and save them. The government and military are powerless. Someone knocks on the door, and these 4 Kokeshi dolls enter the room. They're here to play Kagome Kagome, a game where the player wears a blindfold while the Kokeshi dolls sing as they circle around him, and he must guess who's behind him when the music stops. This guy guesses incorrectly and gets a laser to the head as the dolls take control of his body and start bashing his head against the floor. Then this girl goes after him, but she can't figure out who it is either, and gets ripped in half from the legs up. Okay, this one is tricky, because the premise leads you to assume it's a game of chance, like Russian roulette for children. So the strategy here is to eliminate as much chance out of the equation as possible. And we do this by gathering as much information as we can from every sense of perception we have available to us, and then using them to cheat the game. We can try to observe their starting order before putting the blindfold on. If we can confirm they form a circle in a specific gender pattern, our chances already improve. Next, we use our ears to track them by distinguishing the male voices from the female voices. If we know the pattern and locate a male's voice as it circles, it tells us the gender that is behind us when the music stops. Now all that's left is to determine which member of the gender it is. And now comes the cheating part of the strategy. Before I put the blindfold on, I would assign a number of taps for each doll. 1 tap for this one, and 4 taps for this one. When the doll stops singing, the other student in the room can tap the number for the doll and hopefully not get ripped apart from where the sun don't shine. When it's Shun's turn to play, he can't figure out who's behind him. The hero doll tell him he's out of time, and another doll repeats it, but this was all a part of his plan. Realizing who just spoke, he deduces correctly which one is behind him. He tricked this doll by playing a recording of one of them saying you're out of time, baiting her into speaking and revealing the order of their positions around him. All the dolls explode into dust, and one of them drops the key they need to move to the next stage. The 2 survivors walk out of the room and see this guy come running at them, asking to hold their hand. Behind him, another doll is chasing them, and they all grab hands just in time. The monster doll inspects them, but leaves when it sees they're all linked together. Ichika comes running around the corner, and Shun manages to save her from the hand-holding monster just in time. They meet some other students as well, and discover that to beat this game, they need 7 students to turn 7 keys at the exact same time. They don't have enough of either, until that killer student from the cat game appears and has brought exactly what they need with an extra person to spare. And to no one's surprise, he eliminates him without remorse. Once again, foolish. I would use this extra kid as a lookout for the hand-holding doll, because we will need to stop holding hands in order to turn the keys. And if the hand-holding doll catches us unlinked, we might not be able to turn the keys in time. Everything is a resource here, and this guy is wasting them. I would confront him that this is a poor strategy, and that we can let the game kill him later. But he did just save our lives for the second time, so I'm not going to hold it against him too much. They all turn the keys at the same time, beating this game with 12 seconds left on the clock. Meanwhile, the cube is live streaming their victory, as everyone gathers in Shibuya Square to watch and cheer for them. The group go through and find themselves in a hot spring, except everything is frozen over. As soon as I see this environment, I'm staying against the walls. This looks like a lake that's frozen over, and I'm not leaving myself vulnerable to any traps without reason. I'm getting a head start on the game, and encouraging the others to do the same. Suddenly, a giant polar bear comes surfing in, and tells them that in this game, everyone will be asked a question that they need to answer truthfully. If they don't, they must choose someone to be killed. Okay, this sounds too easy to be true, and I'm not relaxing here. The real game is something hidden beneath the surface, and we have to find out what's the trick. There's no incentive for anyone to lie, but surely they won't let us all pass through. I'm starting this one off by choosing not to trust a single word this polar bear says, expecting traps of double meaning, insinuation, or metaphor. We can't think literally, even when we're trapped in a giant cube and talking to a giant polar bear. The first question asked is, what is your favorite food? Which they all answer easily. But the bear suddenly freaks out because someone told a lie and threatens to kill them if they don't identify the liar in 2 minutes. The players decide that this guy must be it because his favorite food is parsley, and the bear crushes him to death. Now, I'm a classic overanalyzer, so this one would honestly scare the living shit out of me. The answer to this question is deceptively complicated because it's based on a general opinion and not objectively true. If I've had different favorite foods throughout the years, or a favorite in each food category, and if I change my mind after trying new dishes, how could I have one true answer to this question? So therefore, how could the polar bear know what the truth is if I myself do not? And this revelation is how we beat the game.
Wait, pause. Doesn't that mean that the polar bear is just killing whoever everyone else thinks is, well, lying? Or like whoever points most fingers? It's literally Among Us. They're getting voted out. But okay.
I don't know the truth, then neither does the polar bear. And none of us have any reason to lie. So when the polar bear says he knows someone is lying, that statement itself is a lie. And I would accuse him as the secret liar to beat the game. The bear tells them there's an imposter in the group who's intentionally lying to get them killed. This student realizes that everyone goes to the same school except for this girl, so she must be the imposter, and the polar bear stomps her flat. Now that's what I call a high school crush. But as the kid looks at the bear's paw, he sees a black patch of skin and realizes that this is a Japanese demon bear, as the snow melts off, revealing his true identity underneath. The group is taken to their new arena where these Matryoshka dolls appear, announcing this will be the final game. Kick the can. The rules are simple. Whoever is it must take the can and place it in this circle. Then try to capture the others by looking at their face, call out their name, and step on the can. Those captured can be freed if another player kicks the can, but the kicker must sacrifice his life because the can will explode. The game ends if the players avoid being captured, while the one who is it wins by capturing at least 3 players by the time the sun sets. Then they draw sticks to decide their roles, and the psychotic student is it. Everyone runs before the student kicks one of the dolls into the air, knocking the can to the ground and places it at the designated spot. Okay, hold on a second. Didn't they say that can would explode if it was kicked? This might mean it's not triggered by impact, and could be one of the game's tricks if we need to kick the can to save someone later. But more importantly, if I was it, I need to manage my time wisely, because finding people will be very time consuming, and I need to know how much time I have. The setting sun is too abstract, and I need to convert that into minutes. The best way to do this is to hold your fingers horizontally against the sky, in between the horizon and the sun. Each finger that fits in between the sun and the earth is approximately 15 minutes. The 2 boys try to hide as far away as possible, but the psycho student finds them first and beats them into submission. That's 2 down, 2 to go. Now, finding people who have already hidden will waste a lot of time, and by retrieving the can first, you're giving everyone too much time. If it were me, I would skip the can and quietly follow them to their hiding spots first. Once someone's find a good hiding spot, it's unlikely they would move from it, and if I know where they're hiding, I can go retrieve the can and come back to their hiding spot to catch them. I would also prioritize who I should put in prison. The best person to follow is Shun, because he's going to hide with the girl, and that way I am more likely to catch 2 people at once. Shun has proven himself to think quickly on his feet and be heroic, while the other 2 are more cowardly. So if Shun here is locked up first, it's very unlikely anybody will be coming to save him, and as long as I get 3 captured, I win the game. There's only 2 players left. The psycho kid spots them and runs up the stairs. Shun escapes as the girl goes off to block the entrance, but he breaks through and captures her. Shun here is stuck trying to figure out what to do, as he's going to lose if he doesn't free the prisoners. Now, Shun's team did not strategize as well, but honestly, they had the best chance of surviving from the start. He has to see your face and call your name to capture you. By eliminating either of these 2 as a possibility, you can work the game to your advantage. So I would have covered my face with my jacket so he can't legally capture me as a prisoner. I would tell everyone to do this. No matter how much you're punched, kicked, or beaten, if you don't show your face, it will become impossible for him to win. Then there's no need for anyone to kick the can and sacrifice themselves because no prisoners will be taken. This is the best possible outcome. If someone does get caught, we can remove another win condition from him. When he's out finding people to capture, I would stay nearby to move the can and hide it. Even if he sees your face and says your name, you're not officially captured until he steps on the can. If they had thought about this from the beginning, they wouldn't be in this hopeless situation. But then Shun here sees this old suit of armor nearby, and he gets a clever idea. He leaves his hiding place dressed in rusty armor that could give you tetanus just by looking at it. This is clever. One of the rules for being captured requires clear eye contact between a player and the person who is it. The helmet not only makes it harder, but the entire armor set might protect him from the explosion if he kicks the can. He's covered 2 weaknesses that gives him the advantage he needs to beat this game. But it's too hard to move, and there's no way he can fight the student. He backs away to the edge and gets caught, but this was a part of his plan. He chains the Psycho and throws himself off the wall, dragging the other boy along with him. As the student is busy trying to pull the armor up, he's escaped and climbing back over, runs for the can. He kicks it, but it doesn't explode. His team wins, and the dolls reveal that they lied about the explosion. Now that it's all over, all of the players are given popsicles as a reward. But the girl finishes her ice cream and realizes that these popsicle sticks declare who gets to die, and this was the secret final test. They only get to pass if luck is on their side. The unlucky players evaporate into magic powder, and the 2 winners are transported to the top of the white cube as people below celebrate their survival.
But what do you think? How would you beat As the Gods Will? Let me know with a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching, leave a like and subscribe, and check out the How to Beat playlist for more videos like this. Until next time, have a damn good day.
Wow. Wow. Well done. Well done. I gotta give them props.
If you were...
Okay. Oh my gosh. Pog found... yes. Thank you, Dragon Man. Fantastic suggestions. Great channel. Truly entertaining. There's almost nothing I can say. Fantastic. Just fantastic. That said, I have been streaming for an hour now. And I will be streaming tomorrow night starting from 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time as well. I will be ending it here. Thank you everyone for coming. It's been a pleasure having you all here. Until next time, guys. Peace out. Bye bye.